Certain Affinity is back with another Forge tutorial. This week we'll be covering Flood, which has been highly requested in comments on our previous videos. The basic setup for Flood is extremely simple, so we'll also show a couple cool tricks which can be used to spice up your Flood map. To begin setting up Flood, select Forge from the main menu, and then change from Basic Editing to the Flood game type and launch the game. The only thing that is absolutely required for Flood to work are spawn points. More specifically, you need to place initial spawns for both teams and just make sure there are respawn points for the Flood. On each initial spawn point, the team setting will need to be adjusted. Defender for Human and Attacker for Flood. Since this side has our Flood initial spawns, they are all labeled as Attacker. Next, select Advance. Set Game Specific to True, and change the game type label to FLD Spawn, or Flood Spawn, to make sure these spawn points are only used for Flood. Remember, you can speed this up by duplicating spawn points using the D-pad, and they will maintain all their settings. Now simply copy this setup for the Human initial spawns, but set the team to Defender. Don't forget to set Game Specific True, and the game type label Flood Spawn. Now if your map already has respawn points, you're done. If not, then simply place a few around the map for the Flood to respawn at. You can also use respawn zones to influence which points players are more likely to spawn at. Just be sure to use Game Specific True so it doesn't mess up your other modes. We have a tutorial on the channel for how to use respawn zones. We'll link to it at the end of the video. To place barricades and obstacles in Flood only, change the Game Specific to True, and then set the game type label to Flood. If you don't do both of these, you'll have issues where it will show up in other modes, or it will disappear entirely. Now, Ordnance drops can be used to place weapons on the map just like you would in any other mode. We have a tutorial covering Ordnances more in depth, which will also be linked to the end of the video. You'll need to make some adjustments to the game mode options in order to make this work. First, select Ordnance, and then change Initial Ordnance and Random Ordnance to Enabled. And then back up a menu and select Base Player Traits. Under Weapons and Damage, there's an option at the bottom to enable weapon pickup. This will cause Ordnance drops to work, and the players can pick up those weapons. Lastly, Dominion automated turrets can be set up to work in Flood, with a bit of a catch. To place them, navigate to the main object menu and select Dominion, and then place a base turret. Set the team to Defender, allowing them to be activated by the Human team. And then select Advanced and set Game Specific to True, and the game type label is Flood. Now the caveat. Due to Dominion turrets being fueled by Seething Rage, and Flood technically being a free-for-all mode, they'll shoot at anything that moves. That includes the player and the team which activated it. And that does it for this tutorial. Flood is extremely simple to set up, but you can do a lot with it when building a map around the game mode. As always, if you have any issues or questions, feel free to leave a comment and we'll try to answer them. From all of us at Certain Affinity to all of you,
Forge on!